everybody, this is Kohdok here, and I just want to spend a few minutes to talk about Zak Storm Super Pirate. I did finally find the toys. They were some of those toys that were supposed to be out next year, but came out just in time for Christmas. And while I saw them, according to the photos you can see here, I didn't actually pick them up. And that is because I find their business model to be absolutely atrocious. So let me talk about this a bit. The show, Zak Storm Super Pirate, it's a show that, in America at least, is shown on Netflix, and it's by the same people who made The Miraculous Ladybug. So if you like that kind of show where there's a lot of action and not so much character development, then you'll probably enjoy it. I think it's okay. It's a story about a kid named Zak, who looks like Dan Kuso from the original Bakugan, who gets sucked into the Bermuda Triangle, only not like the literal Bermuda Triangle on Earth. It's more like a parallel dimension where a lot of people who get lost at sea wind up, regardless of what era they might have come from. I mean, there's a Viking and an Atlantean princess in it, so that's sort of how it works. It seems to be like a timeless, like, Neverland-style place where anybody gets caught up into it. But Zak finds a sword named Calibras, which is a talking sword that has 7 eyes on it, or the little pearls are called that. And what those eyes do is they give Zak special certain superpowers depending on which one he has activated. And a guy named Skullivar, of course, wants the sword for himself in order to gain control of the Bermuda Triangle and possibly even break out. So, like I said, very intense action show where they fight lots of robot skeletons, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Like I said, if you like Miraculous Ladybug, you'll probably like it. But the problem I have with it is the video game, as you can see here. Now, I'm going to talk about the video game before I really talk about the toys, because the toys were very obviously affected by the decisions that went into making this video game, and the video game is where most of the problems exist. Have you guys been hearing about the controversy surrounding Star Wars Battlefront 2? Yeah, well, buckle up, because this one is about as bad. So, the game on its own is, it's a timing game where there's a bar moving across the screen, and you try to tap it when that bar is over your own attacks in order to launch them, and when they're over your enemy attacks in order to deflect them. So, very simple gameplay. There's also a small section where you sail around in the ship and occasionally shoot at pirates, but that's a pretty minor thing compared to this combat here. But what happens is, in this game, there are some really egregious practices. There are loot boxes. Loot boxes are basically the reward for clearing a few fights on an island, and they, of course, contain the items that you need in order to level up and power up. However, here is where things start to get bad, because these chest slots here, you only have 4 of them, so you can only hold on to 4 of these chests, and you can only start the unlocking process on 1 of them. And that can be between 3 hours to 48 hours. And 3 hours are the really junky chests that aren't even worth as much as the free chest you get every 6 hours. There's a lot of timers on this game. They're trying really hard to make you schedule around this game. So that's one of the traps it likes to set. And, of course, you could let it do that long cooldown. Yes, a cooldown for a loot box, as if that isn't bad enough. Or, you know, you could pay some handy gems to speed up the process, just like Dungeon Keeper Mobile, which everybody hated. The actual these loot crates are very much pay to win. They are the only way to access new items, new sword abilities, new special gear. It's the only way to power up your characters. It is very, very much pay to win. You can, of course, buy some of the special currency in order to buy some more of the special chests to get more cards, or if you want to unlock the characters early, if you want to unlock the other characters other than Zak, you can either spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours level grinding to unlock them, or you can just spend the time to, you can just spend the money and buy each character for 1,000 gems each. And based on the base price, 1,000 gems is like $13. I mean, I think they have like a special for it, but still, that is like $13 per character just to unlock them to play in the game, and that is just insane. And they also have something that works in the toys. There are special scan codes on the toys that are supposed to unlock some more cards as well. However, it takes so many of these points in order to level anything up that a single card will only allow you to one of these toys will only get you up like maybe 2 or 3 levels at most. It's and if you don't oblige the game of course does the tutorial thing where they force you to open a treasure chest beforehand. If you avoid that in order to save the free gems they give you to go back out to sea, you go out incredibly underpowered, and they suddenly slam you with this huge difficulty spike that is actually a little fun to get over and a little challenging, although once you get over it, once you acquire a couple more of the team members because you've leveled up and you're actually able to fight, it's not quite as enjoyable. But it's just leaning so heavily on the store, and this is the thing that really upsets me about this, is that this is a game that's meant to advertise a property and be supported by the toys. The fact that they added in this heavy a slant on monetization just completely kills my enthusiasm for this game. They also have something that ties into the show. The game is designed to tie everything together. Once every 2 hours, it used to be once every 12 hours, you can sync up with a show where it finds the audio from the show from the episode that you're watching, which is actually genuinely a little bit impressive. If there's one thing that's kind of some interesting tech there, I don't think I've seen them do that before. But you can then play Fruit Ninja against a few skeletons, and that can unlock a treasure chest. But of course, the treasure chests are all quite pointless, and the actual games itself, it actually lies to you, or at least in its initial release, it lied to you, because the second slot said it was 20,000 gems, and I'm like, wow, gee whiz, that's $200 worth of gems they're dropping there, and of course it wasn't. It was actually gold. So yeah, it's a bit of a shoddy game design when it comes to that. And that brings us to the toys. Now, the first thing I have to say about the toys is that they are tiny. These action figures are like at most 3 inches tall. They're like half the size of the usual action figures that you get, and they're still charging the full $8 for just the basic figures, for ones that are that small. I mean, I can get Paw Patrol toys for cheaper than that. But anyway, the gimmick is that all of them come with one of these coins, and the coins have a QR code on the back, which when you scan it unlocks a bunch of the related cards, which are necessary in order to power your characters up. And like I said, maybe enough for 1 or 2 levels of that character. So that is another aspect where it's pay to win. This is actually kind of where I expected them to lean more heavily on it, was to use the toys, because I always thought that an app that has a toy tie-in, that's how it was supposed to sell. It was supposed to advertise the property and sell the toys, but they also threw in the monetization off of that. And here's the thing, the toys are made by Bandai, and when you think about it, Calibras is a sword that has a rotating gimmick. He talks, and depending on where you set him, he might do something special. And as the game indicates, in the show, he has all of the eyes already, but in the game, you have to unlock them one at a time by finding them or pulling their cards. So I was thinking, okay, that sounds neat. Maybe they'll make a Calibras toy with the rotating handle that, depending on which marble you have, and you can get the marbles by buying more of the toys, and depending on which marble you click on, he'll say something different, and you'll get the sound effects as it says it activates in a certain form. That's going to be cool. That's exactly the kind of toy that is right up Bandai's alley. You know, like with Power Rangers, or the original Yokai Watch, or Kamen Rider, or a whole variety of things that have that kind of recognition system. That's honestly what I was expecting from them, but that's not what we got. They do have toys of Calibras, but they are just hunks of plastic with no additional features to them. They do have a toy for the Chaos, which looks kind of neat, and it has all the transformations here, but I am frankly astonished that Bandai ignored such an obvious piece of toyetic awesomeness in the form of Calibras. A talking Calibras would have been amazing, but they didn't make it, and that's because they did everything in service of the app with all of the special coins. They even have booster packs of these coins. That's like $5 for just 4 of them, for literally those stupid little pieces of pirate treasure that you waste your extra 1 or 2 tickets on when you're done at Chuck E. Cheese's. It is actually kind of shameful. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know if I'll lose some friends with Bandai over this, but seriously, companies have gotten in legal trouble over doing these sorts of toys, these sorts of games. I mean, like they've gotten in huge trouble with customers and people outside. We're talking things like with like Dungeon Keeper Mobile or Star Wars Battlefront 2, where this kind of pay-to-win gimmicks or constant demands for premium currency, or else you don't get to play. Oh, that's something I didn't mention. When you have all 4 of your chest spots filled, you can only unlock one at a time, which, like I said, takes between 3 and 48 hours, and you cannot play the game until you open one of the boxes. So, yeah, when you fill up your slots, all of your chest slots, you cannot play the game anymore, or at least the battle game anymore. I mean, you can sail around a little bit, but the only way to get good experience points is by fully clearing out an island, and the only way to get decent money is by opening up loot boxes. Everything else is chump change. You can carry maybe 2,000 gold on your ship, but even the cheapest and smallest and most worthless of the chests give you like 10,000 gold at least. So, and gold is the worthless currency, the one that you use to pay for upgrades, but not the one that actually lets you do anything fun. On top of that, oh, there was something else I was thinking of. Oh, geez, what was it? I mean, that's pretty bad that they won't let you do anything else unless you pay for it. And so yeah, you can get maybe 20 minutes out of play after waiting for like 3 days to finally open up your inventory. I mean, when you open up one chest, you can maybe do 2 more battles, then you get another chest, and you get stuck again. So it's a very poorly designed game. It has a terrible first 5 minutes. I mean, They get you going with sailing the ship and fighting the thing, but then they immediately start demanding money from you, and then once you fill up your chests, you can't do anything for a while. I mean, they get more spaced apart the later you go on. Like, I've pretty much cleared out Baru, but it's just not fun. They're trying to get you on a schedule, they're trying to get you to play the game, and the benefits you get by combining it with watching the show and buying the toys is pretty abysmal. So, frankly, that's my opinion on Zak Storm Super Pirate. I mean, I would not hate it as much as I do if it wasn't for this app. This app is, quite frankly, the worst. So, until next time, this is Zak Storm Super Pirate by Bandai, and until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.